Good morning. I haven't talked to you yet in this vlog because work the last 2 days has been really mentally taxing, and I just wasn't ready to talk to people. And even though I'm talking to camera, obviously, I just, my head was pretty scrambled. That means that I read a lot without ever checking in with you, so we have to do some update. The first update is that I finished The Ruby Night on Sunday, like before I would have even started this vlog, and sadly this one has gotten only 3 stars from me because it was just so damn repetitive. It felt like we were walking in circles. This book was just really unnecessary. We got to the end, which was like the end we all knew would be there. Like, they found what they thought after, they have gotten it now, but like the whole story to get there was just so unnecessary. I felt like the Eddings didn't want to write a duology, and so they put this filler book in the middle to be able to make a trilogy out of it. That is what the book feels like. So I gave it 3 stars because the characters are obviously still the same. The banter is there, though not nearly enough as I would have loved. But yeah, I just feel like this was kind of an unnecessary book in the middle of the series, and I wasn't impressed, to be honest. It's just always go to the next point, have a little skirmish, go to the next point, have a little skirmish. Obviously, the whole book is them getting like trailed by somebody. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impressed, I feel sad about it because it's not what I wanted and what I would have loved for the series. But it is what I have gotten as a second book in the series. And then I'm already like a good way through the Sapphire Rose, which this is the one I plan on finishing today. But I did want to check in with you before I continue, because I do have a few thoughts about this. For one, I hate the marriage plot. I hate it with a passion because both characters are quite different in age. And I'm not okay with that. I think it's a pretty bad way to go with it. Just my opinion. Because as far as I'm concerned, the woman is just 18. That is, I mean, I might be totally wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, from like what the book has told us, she's just 18. And our main character has to be like, what? In his like 40s or so? Or like 30s? Something, I don't really know, but I know that he like looked after her when she was a child. So yeah, I'm not okay with that. Other than that, this book is a lot better again. We have a lot of fighting in this one, which kind of makes sense, obviously we are nearing the end of the series here. And yeah, we have a lot of like testing of loyalties. We have a lot of like finally kind of going against the bad guys, trying to get the kingdom back in order. Yeah, I'm now at the point where we are nearing the end fight and going after like the bad people, pretty much like the uppermost bad people, there's kind of like hierarchy and we're kind of working our way up. So that is where we're at right now. I like this one a lot better again than the second one. I really think the second one was just weird filler. If we would have just gone from the first one to this one, and the second one could have been like compromise of like 10 pages in one of these books, I think that would have been a lot better. But yeah, this one I like a lot more, though I do think that the marriage plot is kind of a weird thing to do. I just wished one of the characters would have been older or younger, they would have put them a little bit nearer in age. Or I just really misunderstood the age of one of the characters. That might be totally true. If you've read the books, please just tell me if I'm totally wrong about the ages of the characters. But if I'm right, I'm not happy with it. If I'm wrong, then I'm fine with it. But yeah, so the goal is to actually read the last, I think, 150 pages is what I need to read. So hopefully I can get through, oh no, it might be more 200 pages, you know what. Yeah, it's 200 pages. But I think I should be totally fine reading 200 pages today. And then I got a new book, which I will show you a little bit later on because it's downstairs, from my horror book box, and that will probably be the next book that I will pick up tomorrow then, to have a little bit of a palette cleanser before we go back to the second series, which should also have the same main character as in here. So I'm guessing he will survive, you know. But we're getting there. We will be getting there. And yeah, I now have to do some work. I have to go to the doctor for a routine checkup, and then I will see you later once we get back to reading. Okay, let's have a little chat. It is a bit later now. I finished The Sapphire Rose. I have conflicted feelings. The ending is really sad. That much I can give you. It is a sad ending. It is one of those, they win, the good guys win, but at what cost? That is pretty much the type of ending that this book has. So, you know, it is a fitting ending. But I have to say, I think that this story pales so much in comparison to the Belgariad. I think this is really, you know, I like the symbolism in the Belgariad series where like everything was going in circles because of the prophecies the gods made. And here in the end, it's just like, oh, our main character is just like a special person, and that is why he is involved in all of this, and the rest is just the gods kind of involvement and people just wanting to have like the upper hand, like without thinking about what they are doing with everybody else. I don't know. I just think the story is just a little bit less cool than the Belgariad. Can I say it like that? I don't know. I'm really bad in describing things sometimes. Also, yeah, I don't know. We also have the weird thing about the girl that was with our group, who we find out to be somebody special. It's weird. It's a weird thing. I mean, it was obvious that she was a really special person just from the beginning, you know. It was really, really obvious. They didn't hide it in any way. But yeah, getting to the truth of it was, I don't know. I don't know. I just find the story weird. I think it's not that much of a satisfactory story, I kind of feel like, because so much is just meandering, going from point A to point B, but never really achieving anything. Like, the story is going on, but you didn't need the meandering for the story. I felt like whilst reading the Belgariad, like we really had reason to go to these different places. It felt like there was actually something to solve and actually wisdom to be gained. But with the first, like with the Elenium, I just feel like it wasn't as much there. And I loved that in the Belgariad, and in this one, it just feels a lot less. I'm giving it 3.5, 4 stars, the last one, because it's not bad. It's not horrible, but yeah, I think I'm gonna stay with the 3.5 stars. I didn't love it. I actually really didn't love it, and I think it's, you know, it's an important distinction. I think it's quite the different story. So if you know, think you might like one or the other more, I would say just go with the one or the other. Don't go with both, because they are quite different, and I think they will be liked by different people. I think that might just be the conclusion that I'm coming to, that like, you know, I like the Belgariad, I'm just not impressed with this one. It started interesting. I liked the first book. The second was just, I'm sorry, the second was just not necessary at all. And then the third one did give us a conclusion, but I didn't really particularly like the things that happened beside the conclusion. I think the only thing I really liked was who came to be head of the church. I think that was a decision I really enjoyed. But other than that, you know, there was so much destruction, and, you know, for so little gains, and then with these weird side tangents that I think were so... It's like a wild goose chase, but I feel like a wild goose chase in book form isn't always enjoyable, even though, you know, it is a thing that happens, but I feel like it was just not made incredibly enjoyable in these books. So yeah, we're gonna end with 3.5 stars. Something I did not see coming. to be totally honest. I didn't see it coming, but it came around. So yeah, that is kind of a little bit more on the disappointing side. But you know what? I think one thing I have learned with reading multiple books from one author again and again is that I tend to like half of the books of an author. I think the exception might be Stephen King, but like for the most part, for a lot of authors, I tend to like half of their stuff, and the other half I don't like as much. Like I don't hate the other stuff, but like I don't love it as much as the things I fell in love with the author. And yeah, that seems to be a thing for me. So that is how it is. So we will now pick up a different book that is not by David, by the Eddings, which is still downstairs. So I will show you tomorrow once I actually pick it up. It is a horror book by Chuck Wendig. Wendig? I think yes. So yeah, that is the next book I will pick up. Other than that, I want to talk about my knitting a little bit. I'm gonna insert a quick little video in here because my knitting is lying there. But yeah, I finished technically the first leg of my shorts, and I have to knit it again. It is so annoying. After like I watch a lot of like knitting videos to get inspiration and learn, obviously, you know, because I want to get better at it. And I watched a video and I realized my knitting looked weird in the first part of the legs, and I was kind of confused because my knitting didn't used to look like this, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And then I realized when I watched the video that I was twisting my yarn the wrong way, and so half of my stitches are twisted in the first half of the pants, and it looks really chaotic. You will see it on the video. Like I put them like the right one on the bottom and the fourth one on the top, and you can really see how different it is, because I was like to my partner, like, please tell me, can you see a difference? Because if you can't tell, then I won't do it again, because it's not necessary. It's just some shorts for staying at home. But if you can tell, I have to knit them again, because that will annoy me. And he was like, oh, it's really obvious. And so I was like, okay, I need to knit the first one again. So I'm finishing up the second half of the pants, and once I'm finished with that, I have to redo the first finished piece, which is annoying, to be honest, but I'm happy that they will be looking really, really nice afterwards. So it is worth it to knit it again, but it's still annoying to do, you know, such a little error. And the thing is, could I live with it? Probably. Do I want to live with it? No. I don't strive for perfection, but I have to be proud of my work, and I think that's an error that I can fix, that I'm capable of fixing. And though it might take like a week longer to actually finish the pants, I think it's important for me to redo that and actually finish the pants in the correct way, because, you know, I have the capability to do so. I'm not in a rush to finish these pants. I don't ever want to be in a rush with finishing such a project, and so I'm doing it again. But yeah, that is something I realized yesterday, and it was quite devastating, to be honest. So yeah, I will knit. The pants will take a little bit longer to knit now, but yeah, that is what I'm doing the rest of the day. I will bake some dog treats because we're running out again, and then I will be finishing. I probably won't finish the first half, like the right half today, but maybe tomorrow. But I will do a lot of knitting, and yeah, enjoying the nice weather and all of that. So yeah, I will see you maybe with a knitting update, maybe tomorrow once I pick up the new book. So let's talk about this book. This is The Staircase in the Woods, and it is by Chuck Wendig. This was the newest book in the Evernight exclusive, and it is a horror book, as all of the books are in the Evernight exclusive. Let's talk about the design first. I really love the painted edges. They have this like wood wall look with like things sketched into it. It looks really good. And then when we take off the dust jacket, we have all of these different rooms that you can see, which I have a feeling I know where they are in the book, but yeah, here we have some more, and this is the side view. It looks really, really nice. Like, I really like the design of the book. So yeah, I did start this book, which is why I want to talk about it. Where is my... Oh, there it is. So, as you can see, I've read the first 50 pages because I'm just not in the headspace for more with this book, and I'm gonna explain why. But the gist of the book is that we have a group of friends, 5 friends to be exact, and they went on a camping trip. In high school, and they went into the woods and they found a staircase in the woods, and one of their friends, like one of the group, went up the stairs and vanished with the stairs, and they haven't seen him since. They are now all adults, and yeah, they are most of them are kind of troubled. But yeah, they kind of never really healed from losing their friend. And so at the beginning of the book, we get the point of view of 2 of the 4 characters. So we have Hamish, we have Nick. Those are the 2 point of views we don't get. And then we have Laura and Owen. And Laura and Owen is the point of view we get. And they get together again. They haven't talked to each other pretty much for a long time, because there seems to be a lot of bad blood between them. And they are now getting together again because Nick has terminal cancer, and his one wish before dying was to get together again, because his cancer is terminal. He won't recover from it, and he wanted to get them back together, and it will have to do something, with the staircase. I think the most important point, which is why this is kind of a hard book for me to read, is it's really, really political and recent. So it plays like a few years after COVID. That plays a heavy role with like the jobs of our characters and stuff like that. We have pretty obvious pointers to like Trump and stuff. I would say the guy isn't called Trump in the book, but it's what I think is meant with it. So yeah, there's a heavy implication of that, of mental health, of problems. Owen, for example, has diagnosed OCD, but he can't afford therapy because he lost his job because of COVID, and he can't really find a job because of his difficulties, and he can't get therapy because he doesn't have health insurance because America. And yeah, so that, for example. Then we have Laura, who is really who has a really great job in like writing and doing games and movie scripts and stuff like that. I don't know, she does a lot, it seems, and she is really like good at it, and she makes a lot of money with it, but she is like still really like out there, I would say, with like her style and stuff. And she is autistic and has ADHD, and she has a lot of labels for herself. Let's put it under that. Then we have Hamish, who was the one who smoked weed all the time and stuff like that, but who is now like the khaki wearing a dad of 3 who is a real estate agent, and who pretty much in the eyes of the other ones like changed completely who he is and doesn't seem to be the same person anymore. And then we have Nick, who is just Nick who has cancer, as far as I'm into the book. And so there's obviously a lot of like potential there, a lot of like problems, a lot of bad blood, and the book seems to be going into that direction. So yeah, I think it's hard to read. I personally don't enjoy books with recent politics that much, because I read books to escape reality a lot of the time, and with this one you don't have that. So I'm probably going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit slower with reading the book, but I don't mind. So yeah, I read the first 50 pages. It starts out well enough. The characters are a lot, I would say. They feel real, but at the same time they feel like labels, the characters, which I get, because labels come from somewhere, and obviously a lot of people see themselves like that. But I feel like the characters also feel a little bit like woe is me like, and a little bit like edgelordy, but I guess people in real life are like that as well. So it is what it is. I don't think they are unrealistic. I just think that they may be a little bit too much for my taste. But you know, that is a taste question. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes. I obviously won't finish it this week, but you know, that's fine. I'm just interested to see where it goes. It might be a good book in my thing. It might not be. We will see how the horror will evolve, because I have never read anything by the author. I have no idea what type of horror they do, and how good or bad the horror is, you know. I don't know anything about that, so we'll see what will come of that. Then another update, I did buy Oblivion, the remake. I've never played it, so yeah, the last game I was playing with was Coral Island, like a farming sim. I found out yesterday that I can't finish it 100% with the achievements, because two of the achievements are bugged that I still need to get. So I stopped playing that. I finished it already, like I played through it. I just need to get the achievements, and I was pretty annoyed about that yesterday, and I had a bad day anyway. So I did go ahead and buy myself Oblivion today, and it's a lot of fun, I have to say that. And then a knitting update. I am nearly finished with the second leg of the shorts, so once I'm done with that, I can frock this one and do it again. Let me see if I can show you again how different these two look. Oh, you really can't tell that much on camera, but this one looks a lot neater than this one, and it's even more obvious now that I'm nearly done with it. But you know, it is what it is. And then the other thing I did knitting wise is I did a gauge swatch for the tweed for my sweatshirt I want to start, and I washed it and blocked it, and guess what? I hit gauge the first try. I'm so proud of myself. But yeah, I love the fabric that it does. It is like a really thin fabric, but it's cotton and wool mixed, so it will be probably really good for like fall and spring. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I need to unravel the gauge swatch, and then I can start knitting that one, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm doing really good on the knitting front, to be honest, and I'm really happy with that. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, that is all so far for today. I'm gonna try and finish the short leg today, and I will play some more Oblivion. That is pretty much the plans for the rest of the day. And yeah, we'll see how much I can read tomorrow, how I like it. I hope that the horror starts early. That is what I would like, but we'll see. Good morning. It is Saturday morning now, and I'm here to end the vlog. I'm currently editing the vlog, but yeah, I forgot to do the last update, and I have a little bit of a change in reading plans that I quickly wanted to explain at the end of the vlog. I stopped reading this one, not for the fault of the book. The fault is for myself. I will pick this up in a few months again. The thing is, the book is really like talking about pretty recent political events, and like at least they read like pretty recent political events, and a lot of mental health struggles, and I'm just not in the right headspace at the moment to read this book. I mean, I'm happy that I don't live in America, but you know, I feel like the suffering of the good people of America, you know, kind of hits everybody just the same. And I feel for a lot of the people in America, and this book has just too much of that in it. I never like reading recent political topics in books. I'm much more somebody who likes to read a couple of years later about them, and not like, you know, immediately. And yeah, that coupled with the struggles of the people in here, and I did read on the Goodreads page that the horror of the book is built up on the struggles between the people and the political climate, and I'm not in the mood for that at the moment, to be honest. And so yeah, I'm choosing to put this back on my TR shelf, and I will pick it up in a few months when I feel a little bit better about it. And yeah, we will see this book again, just not right now, because yeah, I can't do that right now, to be honest. So yeah, instead of that, I then picked up the next David Eddings book, which is Domes of Fire, and the first book of the Tamily series, the series that comes after the Linium series. And
I'm already not happy with the start. I don't think that these two series are for me, to be honest. I don't enjoy the story that much. The beginning of this book reiterates the age difference between the queen and our main character. They have pretty much like roughly like a 20-year age difference. She's like barely an adult, and our main character is like, oh yeah, it's weird, you know, but he still married her and he still sleeps with her, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not happy with that. I think it's unnecessary. There's no need for our main character to be that much older than the queen. They could have made the main character younger or the queen a little bit older. There would have been no need for that. I hate it. I really hate it, to be honest. And then the start is that we now get to know the country of Chamboli. And there's some struggles there with like unknown magic, and they, through the grapevine, they heard of Sparhawk, our main character, and they want to try to get him to the country now to kind of have him help them, pretty much. And the beginning is that Sparhawk gets sent on missions from the church, and our queen is of the opinion that the church tries to have too much authority, and the church is kind of trying to get all of the might in the kingdom, which, you know, complicated topic. But then the queen seems like a really unlikable character, which is so irritating because in the first series she gets put on this pedestal of like how cool she is and all of that, whilst she is in the crystal in the first series. And now that we get to know her, she seems to be like a child that is annoyed at everyone and everything. Oh god, the sun has come out now. I'm really sorry, I can barely see you now. But yeah, she seems to be an annoying child, the way she's written, which I don't get at all. So yeah, we're not having a good time starting this, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, I read the first 50 pages. I will continue with this over the next few days. You will get to know more of how I like the series in the next vlog, because I will end the vlog here now. But yeah, sadly, I don't have the highest hopes, I have to be totally honest, because the queen is unlikable in my opinion. I don't like the situation with her and Sparhawk, our main character, and there seems to be now coming up a problem between church and state. And then Sparhawk will probably be sent away to help this country, and so yeah, we'll see where it goes, but I don't know, I'm not impressed with the beginning. Hopefully it gets better, but like going off of the first series, I don't know, but we'll see. I'm not gonna get my hopes smashed down totally. I'm still gonna hope that I will like it in the end. Maybe we don't get much from the queen. That would be actually kind of nice, maybe. So yeah, we'll see how that will be going. And yeah, that is kind of all for today. I hope you still enjoyed all of the reading I did this week, and hopefully, yeah, I will see you back again in the next video. Please leave down below what you've read this week. I always like to know what other people are currently reading. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and up until the next time. Bye bye!